So a few days ago, Enlisted has banned some of its players, and these players are actually pretty interesting in the sense that these guys are not hackers. These people, the few players that I'm referring to, were banned because of violating the game's terms and services, sections 3.2.8 and of course 3.2.9, of which these are unauthorized connections and no mining of hidden materials. Essentially, these guys were banned because they were leaking Enlisted plans, to be most exactly what they have upcoming for the game. And this is actually pretty interesting in the sense that Enlisted is pretty secret about this, so that's unfortunate for all of us. In today's video, I'm going to tell you why this is such a bad idea for Enlisted, and most importantly, why this entire idea is hurting Enlisted more than it is helping. So without further ado, let's get started. Of course, this video has been made possible for the friends at Discord, because I'm one of those people who likes to tell you leaks, and in this video I'm going to tell you why starting now. Leaks, for those who don't know, are essentially stuff that Enlisted decide to leak, and or most importantly, stuff that people have looked into the Enlisted game files and have found. Why is this such a good thing for the player base? And that is the fact that the player base, you guys, can essentially know up ahead what new stuff is going to happen to Enlisted and hopefully fix them before they even happen. Now, most people would say, doesn't there like to have a player essentially developer, or those people who have access to the test server? And to be exact, we're talking about the test server that is on Gaijin's official account, meaning not the test server they share to all of us. We're talking about the Enlisted testers that have been, well, for a long time. The issue with this idea is the fact that, from what I've been told, a lot of these testers, well, they're not getting their responses heard, and most importantly, they cannot say anything, because if they say anything, we're gonna know, and we are gonna be up in arms against it, because some of the new things, people have opinions, and opinions are usually good. In Enlisted's case, they prefer not to have our opinions, and this is actually kind of sad, because we know what we want. Well, hopefully we do. And what ends up happening besides that is the fact that Enlisted has constantly been ignoring us. They have not followed anyone's suggestions, the community. I'm not just talking about myself, I'm not just talking about any other content creator, I'm talking about the community in general. They're not listening to their suggestions, and most importantly, they are essentially banning people who leak stuff. Now, of course, Enlisted does have the right to essentially keep and maintain their rules, in the sense that they can ban people who, well, go against their rules and leak documents. However, I would also like to argue the fact that Enlisted has allowed this before, and people have gotten away with it, most notably using the spreadsheets and statistics of hidden data. And what hidden data is this? This is essentially the hidden data regarding the, well, shot dispersion. For those who don't know, in-game, Enlisted has a thing called shot dispersion, something that a lot of people know about and a lot of people don't. The reason why there is such an entire commotion about this is because they had to do some digging to find the shot dispersion. Now, this was before the official shot dispersion comes out, and this was a long time before the shot dispersion came out. And this spreadsheet essentially was one of the most useful tools in Enlisted, considering the fact that some Enlisted stats, without these, essentially shot dispersion stats, make a gun either terrible or so much better. In the special case of the shot dispersion, Enlisted has allowed us to use their stats, and we have literally gone around using those stats. The issue is now, if Enlisted doesn't like you, or doesn't like what the community wants, in the case of moving on to jets, in which the last leak has been leaked to be, well, new jets, of which I have an entire video for that, in which a bunch of leaks regarding the new jets, and of course the new quote-unquote Japanese Tiger came out. The person who leaked those got banned, which is not fun for anyone involved. That said, that is kind of hypocritical considering the fact that I used those leaks, but needless to say, I do think the entire situation revolving around Enlisted leaks is more akin to helping the community. And why is that? And the reason is simple. Leaks help the community. If you allow the player base to comment on your leaks, said leaks, you essentially have a thing called, well, players can essentially guide Enlisted to a better direction or give their own opinion. Notice how I say give their own opinion. And this is not via through a content creator, via direct messaging, or anything. This is via the community itself, not a certain content creator, not myself, not Quadros, not any single content creator has the ability to essentially replicate the voice of the community itself. Hence, Enlisted, via not allowing leaks, has essentially said no to community. And that is actually kind of not surprising, considering the fact that Enlisted has been doing this, and they haven't really been transparent about what their next plans are. Of course, they have their own roadmaps and Q&As, but in the end of the days, they have said essentially nothing about new factions, new tech trees, and of course, the Cold War stuff, of which a lot of people have questions about and issues regarding the new Cold War. But the real problem as of right now is the fact that Enlisted is getting less transparent. And of course, Enlisted has improved, which is good for Enlisted. The issue is that they have improved and their transparency has not changed, in the sense that their player count and their game is getting better. Ever since the merge has dropped, a lot of players have left, but Enlisted has changed it and made the game somewhat better. But player transparency, in the sense that player requesting Enlisted to do X, Y, and Z, has been a hit or miss. To be exact, if Enlisted decides, yeah, it's gonna work, then they give it to us, and if they decide no, then we never get it. In the sense that with the new Cold War / jets, what ends up happening is that we're probably just gonna get jets that is similar to what War Thunder is, in the sense that we're just gonna have World War II late war jets and early Cold War jets, and we're just gonna mash that together. And Enlisted is not gonna listen to the community, in which the community, most of them, want essentially like a separate Cold War matchmaking at least. And Enlisted is not doing that. That's a fact. Overall, in my opinion, Enlisted could do a lot of help with players themselves commenting on how essentially they run the game, to player engagement, ask what the player want, not in terms of the small terms, which they're actually pretty consistent, but in the long run, in the sense that players want their own separate Cold War matchmaking, and apparently from the latest leaks, it's not been happening. So without further ado, this is all it for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next one.